everyone, I'm going to show you how I make meringues. I usually make these for a Christmas dessert, and you might not think they're very Christmassy, but I think they're a very handy one. They're nice and light, and everybody wants a light dessert after a big Christmas dinner. And they're also very handy. You can have them made in advance and have them stored in an airtight container for a couple of days before the big event, so there's no making of the dessert on Christmas Day. What I have ingredients wise is 4 egg whites, 12 ounces of caster sugar. I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of boiling water, a teaspoon of vanilla essence, a teaspoon of vinegar, and a tablespoon of corn flour, and they just go in at the very end. So the first thing we do is we whip up our egg whites. I'm using a freestanding mixer here with the balloon whisk, but you could easily use just a normal hand mixer as well. We'll just be standing there for a little while longer mixing it up. So we do that, and we add in our 4 tablespoons of boiling water. Whisk it at medium setting. We'll come back to that. It could take 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so we've let that whisk for about 3 minutes, and as you'll see, it's gotten quite frothy. And now at this stage, I'm going to start adding in the sugar. And I'm using caster sugar because it's easier to absorb and it's easier to dissolve. And I'm going to add this really slowly, a tablespoon at a time, and I'm going to mix as I'm going. So it's going to, that's the slowest part of it really, just adding in the sugar nice and slowly so that it's properly dissolved. So I put the mixture going and add this in a little bit at a time. Okay, so that has been beating away for about 7 or 8 minutes, and now at this stage it should be thick and it should be glossy, and it should stay in the bowl if I was to turn it upside down, which I'm not going to demonstrate in case it all goes wrong. At this stage I am going to add in a little bit of vanilla essence, and I'm also going to add a teaspoon of vinegar and a tablespoon of corn flour, and just give the very lightest of whisks to that. And voila, that is done. And at this stage now, I'm just going to use a piping bag, and it's easier to fill the piping bag if you stand it up in a jug or a glass or something like that. So I'm going to fill the piping bag with the mixture and pipe my meringues onto a baking tray. And I've just lined 2 baking trays with parchment paper. It's much easier to get them off and get them in one piece afterwards if they're lined with the baking parchment. Right, so we have a piping bag filled with the meringue mixture, and our trays are lined, so you just want to make small little swirls here. This should make about 12, 16 meringues depending on the size you make them. You could also do just one giant meringue as well, or a pavlova I suppose, but I'm just going to do smaller ones today. So I'll just show you how to do the first one. There you go, that's the first one. So we'll do a full tray of these and then we pop them in the oven. Okay, these are our meringues. They're all piped and ready to go into the oven now. I'm going to put them in at 120 degrees for about an hour, and then turn off the oven and let them cool in the oven, leaving the oven door open a tiny little bit. And they should be ready to fill then once they've cooled down. So we'll put them in and we'll come back and check them in about an hour. So here we have the finished product. These are all our meringues, and I'm going to keep them in an airtight container, and they'll keep for a good few days, maybe even a week in that. And then when I want to serve them up, I'm just going to serve them with a little bit of whipped cream, like so, and a few fresh strawberries and raspberries drizzled over the side and the top. And that is my meringue. And fresh fruit, any fruit that you want will do. Blueberries, any other fruit that you have around. I just happen to have strawberries and raspberries today, but anything will do. that is my meringue.